Everybody talks about what the new Trade Center is going to look like, but I'm telling you right now, the old Trade Center was the most beautiful thing in the world.
For 7 years, 37-year-old Philip Morelli was a construction worker inside the Trade Center. The Queens native says he loved his job at the Twin Towers. At 8:30, he says he was headed to level B4 in Tower 1, 4 stories below ground.
I go downstairs, the foreman tells me to go to remove the containers. As I'm walking by the main freight car of the building, in the corridor, that's when I got blown. I mean, the impact of the explosion, of whatever happened, it threw me to the floor, and that's when everything started happening. I was racing, I was going towards the bathroom, all of a sudden, I opened the door, I didn't know it was a bathroom, and all of a sudden a big impact happened again, and all the ceiling tile was falling down, the light fixtures were falling, swinging out of the ceiling. I mean, I know of people that got killed in the basement, I know of people that got broken legs in the basement, people that got reconstructive surgery because the walls hit them in the face.
There were 2 or 3 similar huge explosions, and the building literally shook. You literally shook at the base of this building.
Just prior to that huge explosion that we all heard and felt,
we heard a very loud blast and explosion. We looked up, and the building literally began to collapse.
And to me, it sounded like an explosion. Then the building, the rolling sound sounded like the building collapsed.
At 10:30, I tried to leave the building, but as soon as I got outside, I heard a second explosion and another rumble. Cars on fire, cars just turned by the force of the explosion.
We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor.
Trying to get some of the people out, then there was secondary explosions and then the subsequent collapses.
As we were getting our gear on and making our way to the stairway, there was a heavy-duty explosion.
All of a sudden, it started like it sounded like gunfire. You know, bang, 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 and then all of a sudden, 3 big explosions.
We've heard reports of secondary explosions after the aircraft impacted, whether in fact there wasn't something else at the base of the towers that in fact were the coup de grace to bring them to the ground.
That would put us about a block and a half away from the site of where the explosion was. That area has just been evacuated because police have found what they describe as a suspicious device, and they fear that it might be something that could lead to another explosion.
I got an eyewitness who said there was an explosion on floor 7-8. 7-8. We just had another explosion.
Warren Street because of the secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion.
And we got another explosion on the tower, 1013. 1013 down 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area.
Who's involved in the secondary explosion at Tower 1?
Moments ago, I spoke to the chief of safety for the New York City Fire Department. He received word of the possibility of a secondary device, that is another bomb going off, but he said that there was another explosion which took place, and then an hour after the first hit here, there was another explosion that took place. He thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building. We are continuing to hear explosions here down.
What happened? We was in an explosion. We was in the lobby and the third explosion, the whole lobby collapsed on us.
Is that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the first tower coming down, secondary?
I don't know about the first one, but I know the second one, it was terrible. Then there was a third one, too, after that one.
Third explosion after that?
That's right.
So what you told me is that there was plane and whatever hit the building, then a secondary explosion.
It was like 3 explosions after that. We came in after the fire. We came when the fire was going on already.
People don't understand. There may be more. Any one of these fucking buildings could blow up. This ain't done yet.
William Rodriguez, a maintenance employee at the World Trade Center and the last human being to exit the towers alive, describes a giant blast below his building.
And all of a sudden we heard an explosion. It was a huge explosion that came from under my feet, meaning that it came from the sub-levels between B2 and B3. And then there was a huge explosion at the top of the building. You could hear the difference from the bottom and all the way through the top. The one from the top, which was actually seconds after, was heard very far away. The one at the basement was pretty loud, and you felt your actual feet moving with the floor. The tremor that is sent through the floors, that the walls cracked and the false ceiling totally collapsed. And that's when a person named Felipe David came running into our office saying, explosion, explosion, explosion. And when I saw him, he has all his skin pulled from under his armpits and missing pieces on his face.
At least 2 blocks, and we started running. Floor by floor, it started popping out.
It was if they had detonated.
Yeah,
if they were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down.
As we were moving towards the building, we saw the top begin to blow out in a plume of smoke, and we heard the noise associated with an implosion.
And you can see that it almost looks like one of those planned implosions.
It's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
Managed implosion of the building. If you've seen many of the managed demolitions where they implode a building and they cause it essentially to fall vertically because they cause all of the vertical columns to fail simultaneously. That's exactly what it looked like, and that's what happened.
It was live on television. I mean, just literally millions of people